Hi folks, G3 here, and welcome to another instalment of my journey to go green.
Well folks, thanks for watching this video. If you enjoy it, then please remember to click the like button, and also if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon so you get notified when I load up a new video. Right, let's get on with the video.
It's a couple of months since I bought my Tesla Model S, so in today's episode I'm just going to be talking about those first couple of months. What have I found that's unexpected about the car? What's exactly as I thought it was? Any difficulties I've had? I'm just going to drive to a local Instavolt charger, it's the first time I will have used it, give it a go, and I'll chat as we're going. One of the first things is just how easy reversing is, with all the sensors and cameras, really clear camera position in front of me to see. I've got sensors all around to warn me if I'm close to anything. It's just extremely comfortable. I have found that the mapping here is very good, but
turn left onto approach
it didn't particularly take account for traffic problems that I found. There was a blockage on a local motorway last weekend, and it was caused about a 4-hour delay for anybody that was stuck in it. But the mapping was telling me that everything was fine and dandy, and that I should carry on. And if I had, I would have been stuck in there. It was only that I'd seen some overhead signs warning me, and I did a quick search when we'd stopped at a service station to see whether that was the case and whether there was a problem, and there was. It had adjusted, I think, with the time. It wasn't really clear that there was particularly a delay on the journey, and it would have been better if it was sort of flagging up that there was a potential problem. But I suppose it was getting its information from Google, I believe, and when I did look on Google Maps, equally it didn't know the real length of the delay. It was saying it was about 20 minutes when it wasn't. So I guess that's a problem with using that mapping. I found it very easy to put in details to try and locate places to go to. That's been pretty good, so I've been happy with that. It's extremely easy to go back home as well. I just need to swipe right at the top when I'm at a destination, and it will automatically know that I want to go home and route me there, which is great. It would be exceptionally nice if it routed journeys according to all chargers, but at the moment it's only taking into account Tesla chargers. I am fairly sure that that is due to change. I think I'd read that that was going to be changing and they were going to be incorporating it at some point. I don't know when that's happening though. But that would be awesome if you could then choose to go via other chargers as well. On the screen, I found it quite frustrating when I've needed to have internet access. That's really slow. This is a 2015 model, so it's got 3G in it. I haven't had the upgrade to 4G, or I think it's LTE, it comes up on the screen. I haven't paid for that upgrade. I think it was just under £500 to get that done. It was like £480 I was quoted.
Now enter the roundabout,
and I wasn't really sure whether that was worth it. I wanted to try the car for a while and get used to it and see whether it was a problem for me or not. And it is a bit of a problem. But the issue that I have is I don't really know what difference getting that would make. Would it really make that much difference? You know, what if I go and pay £500 and then find that actually it hasn't really made a great difference and it's still pretty poor? I mean, some places when I'm sitting there trying to use the screen and it's just not updating. Even if it's supposedly got some bars of signal, it's just not updating. It's just taking so long to get the information that it's a real frustration, and I end up using my mobile phone and getting a quicker response there. I don't know what comeback you've got if you go and pay for the upgraded internet into the 4G and then find that it's no better. I really don't know if there's any sort of comeback there. It's just a lot of money to go to pay, get a bit faster internet. I suppose it's not much different to when you go and buy a new mobile phone because you want the latest camera, the latest speed, and all the rest of it. Then I guess it's not much different to paying out that. Don't know. Who knows? The frustrations over the next few months might mean that I end up doing that. We'll see. But that's been a disappointment for me because at the moment it's not really usable. It's I can't count on it. I tend to use my mobile phone most of the time, and I'll tend to sort of go with that instead, just because it's it's a bit pointless and it's not really. I just can't rely on it. The steering wheel is lovely. I find it very comfortable. It's brilliant that I can adjust it. Reach, rake height, and all the rest of it. It's extremely adaptive. One thing that I found exceptionally good is setting the different user profiles so that when I sort of leave the car, the steering wheel can retract, the seat can retract and give me more sort of leg room, and when I get back into the car and about to drive, it then will do the adjustments for me so that the steering wheel is back in the right position, the seat is in the right driving position for me, and it's quite a seamless experience. So I think that is exceptional. I really like that. But they have been fine for me. It seems that people have a death wish today. Horn's quite good. It's a little thing, but I quite like the sound of the indicator. It's a pleasant little noise to me. It's not. I'm not finding it annoying, obtrusive.
500 feet.
Little thing you don't really think much about, but I think it's good. And so I haven't had a car with the assistance for reversing before, so I am finding it exceptionally good with the lines to guide where the wheels are going and clarity. And there it's bonging to let me know how close I am. 21 inches. There we go, that will do. I love the internal mirror, the the rear view mirror. It's really dark of an evening and blocking out traffic lights, lights from behind, so I'm not getting blinded. Makes adjustments. I can see reasonably well out the back of the car. Because it's a small window, I thought it was going to be a problem, but I can see reasonably well out of there and from the mirrors. And if I am going to be in a position where I'm reversing, then obviously I've got the camera and I can see there, and it's got all the sensors, so that's not a problem. And also you can have the camera on when you're driving anyhow. You can have the rear view camera on if you want to look at stuff behind you, so that is a possibility. It's not something I have needed, so I haven't put that in place, but that's a possibility. So visibility, it hasn't been as bad as I thought it would be. I haven't found the width a problem. I mean, this is just over 2 meters width, whereas my previous car was about 1.8 meters, and I haven't actually really found that a problem. I've been able to sort of judge quite well on roads, even when I've been going up fairly narrow country roads, and that hasn't been a problem for me. So that's been okay. I was a bit concerned. And on the subject of size, parking has been okay so far. we've managed to find space when needed. If I'm in a busy car park, I tend to move away from others and find space, just to make sure that, you know, people aren't being compromised with their cars and having to struggle to open doors alongside, and potential for knocking and that sort of thing. And when we're parking at home, if we know that we're coming back at a time that's likely to be difficult to park, we move Mrs. G3's car into a sort of position to a place where this is parked, so that we can get access easily when we get back, because it's a lot easier to find space for her car. But if I know I'm coming back at a time when parking's not going to be an issue, then I don't bother. I can easily park elsewhere. Of a night time, it's really tricky to find parking space outside if you haven't parked earlier in the day, so we try and use that. But generally parking's been okay. Space in the car is really good. I've found the cabin position fine and comfortable. I've got enough room. I'm not a tall person. I am 1.68 meters, 5'6". So I'm not a tallest person. So I mean, I have loads of headroom, but you can gauge from that there's still loads above, and equally, you know, you can adjust the seat position up and down and everywhere to make it more comfortable. Mrs. G3 has loads of space in the passenger area, so she's really happy with that. Loads of room. I love the storage compartment in the middle that I'm able to put a really chunky bag in, and it doesn't slip around. I like the fact that I've got the open one on here. You can get a center console in later models, but to my mind that's just taking up loads of space. It's not a very good system. You can put a few bottles in there, and there's an open cubby hole and something, and then you're losing a load of storage space, and that's the one thing this car doesn't have a huge amount of, it's storage space. So I don't think that's a very good system, so I'm quite happy with this. I can plonk a big bag here, it doesn't move around. I've gone and got a cubby compartment in here, which I've included on a separate video, and I'll include the link up here for that. And I found that really useful for keeping small items in there, so that's great, doesn't move around at all. I don't have any storage space in the door panel, but I haven't found that a problem. I haven't needed it, because I'd collect loads of junk if that was the case. But through having this, the cubby, and a little bit of space in the glove box, then I found that fine, it's not a problem. Rear passenger space has been really good. I gave my parents a lift a couple of weeks back, and they had loads of room. They were very comfortable. I am making a lot of use of the Frunk. That's even more useful than I expected it to be. A huge amount of space, a deep space, goes back quite a long way, and it's because of the depth, I find it really good for shopping bags, because it's easy then to put them alongside and to pad in with empty bags or spare blankets and stuff that I've got in there that can then keep them in place and they don't move around. It is exceptionally good for storing my shopping and keeping that in and not moving around. It's a real plus. The rear boot is cavernous, it's huge, and if I was putting bags in there, they'd be flying all over the place. I mean, you can get compartments to keep things in place there, but I use that for bigger items. So when I've gone shopping for plant pots or huge bits, they go brilliantly in that rear boot. And I've had the seat down on a couple of occasions to allow something longer through. So storage space is awesome, brilliant. But that Frunk is fantastic. It is exceptionally good for shopping. So that was a real surprise. Very, very pleasantly surprised by that. This is a cheap plastic thing, or it feels cheap and plastic on there, but I don't really use the mirror that often, so it's not really something I'll use. Mrs. G3 has, and she's, it's fine. This has been ample so far, the depth for blocking out the sun for me, so that's fine and easy to get access to when you're driving along. I found these little lights here very useful, little touch light to come on, so if you do need a little bit of light, that's pretty good. Equally, it will come on and give you a bit of a flood when you open the door and stuff if you've got it set. Exceptionally good for adjusting the windows, and mirrors and the like. That's been really good, very happy with that. So we've got drinks holders here, very easy to move back and store. The thing is, I've got a big bottle, so it's a little bit in the way sometimes of my elbow. So if I'm doing that, I have to put it in the other side if it's me with the big bottle. So I'll put it in the other side because it's in my way, but a smaller bottle would be fine. I've got a couple of charging points down here, and there is a 12-volt charger as well as the USB connections. So that's good for charging phone and stuff with the USB one, but it's a big space. It would be nice to have a charging point there, you know, to sort of for the cradle the phone and put the cable into. I've seen that you can get some, but they are for fitting when you've got that cubby unit here, not when you've got the open space. So I haven't managed to find one that will work in here. If you've got any knowledge of one in here, then please do let me know, because that's something I could really do with. At the moment, I've just rested the phone in there with the cable, and it's got little rubber strips down the middle that stop things from moving around. So that's great, but you know, I'd rather it was sort of more contained. I've got a like a sunroof or glass roof. I can't remember what they call it now. The operation of this is exceptional, because on the screen I can choose to open it, vent it, pull it back just by dragging on the screen as to where I want it. So that's brilliant. It's so so useful just to get a little bit of fresh air coming in here. And generally I've found the controls on the car really good. So just tapping on here to open the frunk, the boot, to open the charging flap, and it's brilliant. So useful and easy to use. I was concerned first when getting this as to just how I was going to cope with all of the menu system, because there's a lot of controls here, so there's an awful lot to take in. There's an MG5, and that's my first one I've seen on the road. There's an MG5 that's just pulled in and around. Okay, I've had a charge up at Instavolt, had a nice chat with the guy that was charging his MG5, finding out about that. He's only had it a couple of days, so yeah, good to see about his experiences there. I've done a number of videos on MG5, including test drive and other bits and pieces, so I include the test drive up here just in case you haven't seen it and you want to know a little bit about it. Nice car, good value. What else can I tell you about my Tesla Model S? I have found the acceleration to be very useful. Now, obviously I was aware that the car was fast, but when it came to using that, I wasn't really kind of thinking about how it would be beneficial in my regular driving. I assumed it would just be a case of, you know, getting up to speed and you'd be quicker doing it. But when I've been driving on like country lanes and that kind of thing, and I've been able to use the acceleration just to make sure that I'm getting closer to passing points quicker, just to be safer with the driving, so that I know it's safe on that stretch of road, and before another car approaches, or you know, I see another car, it means that I can get in position and be safer for when in case somebody appears. I probably haven't explained that very well, but I found it extremely useful for ensuring that I'm actually being safer with the driving. On the motorway, I've been able to use it to get past lorries quicker and then sort of get back to my pace. Because I live near Dover and I'm regularly on this stretch of the M20 going up towards Maidstone and beyond, there's a lot of lorries on here. So I come across a lot of vehicles that will be potentially encroaching on my road, of my lane. So to get past them quickly and then continue my driving really helps, so you're not sort of worrying about sort of coming towards you, as they often can. It's been great being able to link the entertainment console through, so I've got Spotify on here. It's great that it links through so that I can play Spotify on my phone, my computer, and it just picks up wherever I've been. So whatever I've been listening to, just pick up on here. You've got to have, I think, the premium package in place to be able to do that. I've also got a few podcasts that I'm going to enjoy listening to here in the car, because I don't always want to listen to music. So I found the Autopilot to be useful, so I'm going to put it on now. I've been able to set it so that it keeps me at least 3 car lengths away from the car in front. It's now doing my chosen speed, and if I wanted to, I could in theory remove my hands from the wheel and it would be doing the steering. So it's keeping me in my lane at the moment. That's great. I haven't quite got used to it yet, because when I want to change lanes, sometimes it will do it for me and sometimes it won't. I think if I'm too close to cars, it won't do it. So there's nothing near me now. So if I indicate, I think it will do it for me. Check blind spots for approaching traffic, and there we go. It's done it. And it's now in the middle lane. Okay, so I'm getting closer to a lorry in front, or it's a small lorry. So let me see about changing lanes now. Check blind spot. Okay, it's done it. So I think that's just user error then. I've just got to get used to it. Okay, I'm coming up behind the vehicle and it's adjusting my speed because it's going slower. So let me indicate, and now it's doing it and accelerating. Okay, so maybe in the past, perhaps I've been rushing a bit with what I've been doing, because that's working fine. That's absolutely fine, no problem. It's really comfortable. Now that vehicle's gone, I'm indicating, and I haven't had to do any of the steering. It's taken me back in. It's done exactly what should be done. So yeah, that's great. That's really good. I'm liking that. I haven't particularly used the voice commands. It's got it on here, but when I've tried to use it, I haven't found it particularly useful. It hasn't really done what I want it to do, but I think that's because I need to get used to the commands I need to ask it for. Originally, when I first started using the car, I had it to display miles on the dash. I've now changed that to be a percentage, so it's showing me that I've got 57% battery left. Because I'm used to the car a little bit more now, I know that in theory at 90% I've got 210 miles range of normal driving, and so I know that I get in roughly just over 2 miles per percent, 2.3 miles per percent or something. So because I'm a cautious person, I tend to think, okay, I've got 2 miles for every percentage, and so that's working for me now, and I've gone on to percent because it just strikes me as a better way to do it and to understand. Because I charge to a percent of battery, I don't charge for mileage, I'm charging to a percent. Yeah, it just seems right to do that. Oh, this autopilot's brilliant. I haven't quite got used to making sure that the car is preconditioned prior to me getting into it. A lot of the time I'm not remembering to do it until the last minute, and it wasn't quite up to temperature when I got into it today, the car, so that's something I need to try and remember to get used to. I've been recording my mileage that I've been doing in the car, working out my costs so far, the efficiency. I haven't quite got it right yet in my calculations, but what I have been able to do is work out the general cost per mile. And I had a trip the other day that I was doing 8p per mile, which is extremely favourable compared to my old Peugeot 207, and it was roughly half the price, I think, that I was doing, and that's great considering I can't get cheap charging at home. I'm only getting my charging from out and about, so that's not bad. But in general, it's been higher cost than I anticipated because I have used some more expensive services, using the Ionity charger at approximately 70p per kilowatt, which, it's almost 3 times the charge of some of the others. That's really skewed my data. I've driven probably about 1,000 miles so far in the car, and that's made a big chunk in my efficiency, the Ionity cost. But the more driving I do, the cheaper energy I put in, the better economy I'm going to get overall for the car. So for those that's of interest, I will include a link down below to my energy calculations. I've got a shared Google Doc of that so people can see what it's costing me and the various different charging services, just out of, in case it's of interest for you. I haven't really driven an automatic car before. I've always been manual, so it's been a revelation to be able to use the two-pedal driving, and I love having the regenerative braking set to a good level and utilize that as part of my braking strategy to slow me down. So I do kind of miss it when the battery isn't in an optimum position, because the car will adjust the strength of the regenerative braking when the battery's not in a position to particularly take it. So now at the moment it's not quite as strong as it could be at other times. The general driving is so easy, and I love pulling up to traffic lights, pressing the brake and it being enough to hold it, because if you give it a firm press it puts on the hold, and then it will just stay there until I press the accelerator, and it will smoothly go away. So it's a very seamless process for the lights. I love it. It's really good.
500 feet.
I think that's probably it for now. A bit of a rundown of my first couple of months of driving the Tesla Model S and my first couple of months of being an EV driver. And in summary, it's brilliant. I love every minute of it. I haven't really found anything that's particularly been a disappointment to me or putting me off. I found the process really straightforward. Even though I'm not charging at home, I'm having to use public chargers. I've not found that to be a huge problem. Just takes that little bit of extra planning to ensure that I've got capacity for where I'm going. We're able to make sure that we stop and charge at appropriate points. It's not been an issue at all. When we do stop, it's usually because we need a loo break or a coffee break, and we've been able to stop for that, and it's just been really relaxing. It's a lovely way to go. Yeah, everything's been excellent. I love the car. It was a really good choice, even though obviously it's quite a large commitment from a financial point of view. It's one that I was comfortable making, and I found that the whole experience of being an EV driver and driving this car makes it fully worthwhile. I thoroughly enjoy driving. It's a pleasure to do, and that's great. So long may it continue. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video, folks. I hope you found it useful. If you did, then please click the like button down below. It really helps the channel. It encourages YouTube to show this video to others and other videos of mine, and that'll be much appreciated. If you haven't done so already, then please, why not subscribe to the channel? I've got a nice number of subscribers, which is great. Thank you very much to those who have already subscribed, but I'm looking to try and get more to help grow the channel. So if you haven't done so already, then please just subscribe to the channel. Encourage others maybe to do so as well. Spread the word for me. That would be much appreciated, and it will help me increase the number of cameras that I'm using, the equipment that I'm using, that will hopefully improve the experience and enable me to put out more videos that you will hopefully find useful and entertaining. So yeah, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, folks. Until next time, bye.